sow the thought and reap the act. Sow the act and reap the habit. Sow the habit and reap the character. Sow the character and reap your fate. Hi there, I'm Suranga from English Wind. ඉතින් අද අපි කතා කරන්නේ පුංචි කාරණාවක්. ඒ කියලා කියන්නේ කෙටි වාක්‍ය පාවිච්චි කිරීම. සමහරව හිතනවා දිග වාක්‍ය ලොකු වාක්‍ය sentences අමුණගෙන හදන එක තමයි හොඳ කියලා. එහෙම නෑ. ගොඩක් අය ලොකු දේවල් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ පුංචි sentences. හරිම කෙටි දේවල්. Now for example, when you think about the lectures of Krishnamoorthy, Jiddu Krishnamoorthy, he is a philosopher, and he uses really a very simple language. Simple language means very simple words and short sentences, but the thing that his philosophy is really great. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද philosophy එක මාර great Jiddu Krishnamoorthy ඔබ බලුන්. ඉතින් ලොකු අදහස් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන් පුංචි වාක්‍ය වලින්. ඉතින් අපිට චූටි වාක්‍යයකින්වත් හරියට දෙයක් එක දිගට කතා කරගන්න බැරුව අපි ලොකු වාක්‍ය හදන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා try හොඳයි ඒව කරන එක ඒව ඔක්කොම කරන්න. ඒ අතර පුංචි වාක්‍ය වලින් එක දිගට නවත්තන්න නැතුව දේවල් කියන්න පුළුවන් ගානට එන්න. සහ වටහා ගන්න පුංචි වාක්‍ය වලින් ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. හොඳයි අපි යන් මේ පොතට මේක ඇවිල්ලා එසේ පොතක් මේක ලියලා තියෙන්නේ H මාටින්. ඔබට පේනවා පොඩි පොතක්. ඒකෙත් ඔබට පේනවා මේ එසේස් හරිම චූටි කියලා පිටුවක එසේස් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. නේද? හරි චූටි එසේස්. ඒ වගේ මාටින් මහත්තයා ලියලා තියෙනවා වෙන පොතක්. ඒක සිම්පල් එසේස්. තඩි පොතක්. ඒතර අරක මොකක් වෙන්නද? ඒ එසේස් සිම්පල් වෙන්න බෑනේ. හරිද? මේක එසේ එකක් ජෙනරලි pages දෙකකට විතර ගිහින් තියෙනවා. මේක එක එසේ එකක් pages දෙකකට විතර ගිහින් තියෙනවා. ඒ එසේස්ම තමයි මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. සිම්පල් එසේස්. මම පුංචි මේකෙන් තමයි මේ අද එසේ එකට යන්නේ. habits කියන මාතෘකාවට තමයි මම යන්නේ. පුරුදු කියන එක. අපි බලමු යා habits ගැන කෙටි වචන වලින් කෙටි sentences වලින් ලස්සනට අදහස් ඉදිරිපත් කරලා තියෙන හැටි. සිංහල සහ ඉංග්‍රීසි මිශ්‍ර කරන්නයි යන්නේ. ඒකින්ද මේකෙදි ඔබට සිංහල චුට්ටක් ටිකක් ඇහෙවි. වැඩිපුර ඉංග්‍රීසි ඇහෙවි. සිංහල ඉංග්‍රීසි මිශ්‍ර වේවි. ඔබට නොදැනී ඉංග්‍රීසි අස්සට යන්න අවශ්‍ය පාලම තැනේවි කියලා මම හිතනවා. හොඳයි. habits එක කාරණයක් කියන්න කැමති. දැන් ඔබ දිග වාක්‍ය හදනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ ලොකු sentences හදන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් ඔබට හොඳ flow එකක් සහ ඒවා connect වෙන හැටි පිළිබඳ පොඩි idea එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනි. ඒ flow එක එන්න ඕනි. ඉතින් අපි හිතුවොත් එහෙම මේ දිග වාක්‍ය හදන්න බැරි කමින් තමයි අපිට කතා කරන්න බැරි කියලා. No, it is not the thing. ඔබ දිග වාක්‍යයක් කරන for example දිග වාක්‍යනේ මේ දිග දේවල් ඉදිරිපත් කරනකොට අපිට හොඳ flow එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. For example අපි ගමු මෙහෙම idea එකක්. මම මොකක් හරි කියවන්නම්. Yeah. That particular day I want to tell you that we wanted to enter a particular room, and that room was really a big one, and we entered the room and we found that there were good number of butterflies. There are hundreds of butterflies, thousands of butterflies, all different colors. That is, it's just like the rainbow, a spectrum of colors we saw, and we didn't want to disturb the tiny things, tiny animals, beautiful things. So then we did not make sort of noises, and we were really silent. And then we found that some butterflies were ඔවගේ මොනවා හරි අපි කියනවා නම් දඩබඩ ගාලා අපිට මේ ඔක්කොම එන්න ඕනි. අපිට එහෙම එන්නේ නැත්නම් අපිට හරි හොඳයි පුංචි වාක්‍ය වලට යන්නේ. So ඒකින්ද අපි කෙටි වාක්‍ය වලින් කියනවා අපිට හරි ලේසි හිතන්න වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා අතරමැද තියෙනවා. So the story is like this, and there was a room in that building and we wanted to enter the room. Why? To see what's there. And we entered the room and we found a good number of butterflies. They were beautiful. They were of different colors. Some are red, some are green, some are yellow, something like that. එහෙම අපිට කෙටි වාක්‍යයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් අපේ අදහස් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් අපි යන් බලන්න එසේ එකට මේ සේක habits, this one shall we go to. Habits, good and bad, are all formed in the same way. Habits, good and bad. Habits can be good and bad. We have good habits, we have bad habits. Mosquitoes biting, yeah. Habits, good and bad, are formed in the same way. are made in the same way. Clear? Yeah, habits, they form, they come into existence. That is it. So the way, what do we call, the habits form, habits are made, is the same. Maybe it is good habits, maybe bad habits. Same way, same principle. Habits, good and bad, are formed in the same way. They are formed by repetition. The way is, the method is, they are formed by repetition, repeating, doing that again and again, doing that again and again. If somebody smokes again and again, he becomes a chain smoker. He is addicted to that. Yeah, clear? You understand, right? He wanted to smoke a lot. So therefore, he won't be able to get away from that particular habit. He won't be able to get away from that particular habit, and he will be trapped. උගලට අහුවේවි trap එකට නේද? Something like that. Habits, good and bad, are all formed in the same way. They are formed by repetition, as I have told you, repeating, doing things again and again. Then if you do something good, if you do something bad again and again, it becomes a habit. Yeah. We do something in a special way, for example, in a special way. For example, reading newspapers in a special way. Maybe in the morning, we read newspapers, something like that. Storybooks or novels or whatever it is. We do something in a special way. We do it again in the same way. We do something special. Special means not really special, something we like. Maybe, for example, just think about eating fried rice. You go to a restaurant and you eat fried rice, it's really special and you like it. And then next day you are going to that. And then you eat it. And the following day. And time to time you go to the particular place. And the thing is, actually, what happens is your body says, your tongue says, I need that fried rice. Then it becomes a habit. You have to go to the cafeteria more frequently. දිගින් දිගට මේ cafeteria එකට යන්න fried rice කන්න දිගටම කෑවොත් නේද? අන්න ඒ වගේ. We do something in a special way. We do it again in the same way. We do it again in the same way, repeating. We do it more and more in that way. We do it more and more, again and again, in the same way. In that way. At last it becomes a habit to do it in that way. At last, finally, at last means finally, it becomes a habit to do it in that way. We do it in that way. So very simple sentences. You just go to that. Habits, good and bad, are formed in the same way. They are formed by repetition. We do something in a special way. We do it again in the same way. We do it more and more in that way. At last it becomes a habit to do it in that way. It becomes a habit. Habits of what? Habits to do it in that way. It is like people making a footpath by always treading the earth down in one direction. It is just like, he has given an example. It is just like people making a footpath. People making a footpath by always treading the earth. Treading. You understand treading? Treading, going. When we go, we tread. You just go to the dictionary and try to find the meaning of tread. It is just like people making a footpath by always treading the earth down in one direction. Maybe you have no idea what treading is, but you know that when we are walking, it is basically treading. You have the idea, you don't want the real meaning of treading in singular. Clear? It is like people making a footpath by always treading the earth down in one direction. In this direction, I'm treading, and footpath is made. අඩිපාරක් හැදෙනවා. You understand why? Repetition, doing it again and again. Clear? Our habits are important. Very simple sentences. Our habits are important. They form our characters. අපේ චරිතය වෑන් හැදෙනවා. Habits වලින්. පුරුදු වලින් තමයි අපේ චරිතය හැදෙන්නේ. They form our characters. Character is just like a bundle of habits. Your character is bundle of habits. Character. අරුගේ කැරක්ටුව නම් හොඳ නෑ. We would say. But why do we say that? ඔකගේ කැරක්ටුව එච්චර හොඳ නෑ. Because he must have a bundle of habits. Habit malla, habit gonna kuta thiyena naraka habit. So that is the reason why habit is character is a bundle of habits. Your character is a bundle of habits. You may have a good number of habits. Clear? They form our characters. Character is just a bundle of habits. Repeated acts form habits. Repeated acts. When we do the same thing again and again, it makes a habit. For example, smoking, yeah. Habits make up character. Oh, when we do something again and again, it becomes a habit. Yeah, good number of habits, yeah, good number of habits when come together, it becomes a character. Yeah. Character decides our success or failure in life, yeah. Character decides your failure or success in life. ජීවිතේ සාර්ථකත්වය හෝ පරාජය character එකෙන් තමයි තීරණය වෙන්නේ. Yeah. Repeated acts form habits. Habits make up character. Character decides one's success or failure in life. Sow the thought. වපුරන්න සිතවිල්ලක්. Sow the thought and reap the act. හිතවිල්ලක් වපුරලා ක්‍රියාවක් නෙලා ගන්න. අපිට හිතුනමනේ කරන්නේ. අපි හිතවිල්ලක් දාපුවාම ඵලයක් වෙන්නේ reap. ඵලදාව වෙන්නේ act එකක්. Shall we go? Sow the thought and reap the act. You understand? Sow the thought. We sow. We vapurano. We sow the thought and we reap the act. The result is act. Sow the thought and reap the act. Sow the act and reap the habit. Sow the act and reap the habit. Clear? Yeah. Sow the thought and reap the act. Sow the act and reap the habit. Sow the habit and reap the character. Habits. Good number of habits. Sow the habit. Habit vapuruwot. We reap the character. අපිට ඵලදාව වෙන්නේ character එක. Character. චරිතය. Sow the character and reap your fate. චරිත වපුරපුවාම ඒ චරිතය අනුව then we reap the your fate. ඔබේ ඉරණම. Clear? That is really beautiful. And so you just listen to it again. Sow the thought and reap the act. Sow the act and reap the habit. Sow the habit and reap the character. Sow the character and reap your fate. Habits can be good or bad. Good habits form a good character. Bad habits form a bad character. So we must try to form only good habits. So it is our duty to form good habits. So in this one, this is habit. Actually, this is really good essay in a way. Why should I say so? It is not just talk about habits. He's talking about the importance of habits in a very good way, in a very good manner. So you basically think that making long and complex sentences is the thing. No, it is not the thing. There are times that we have to do that, but before that, start small and use simple sentences to talk about big things. Just like this, habits. He has used, in this one, even you have the same essay, habits, but it is a big one. Yeah. That is what I want to tell you. So think about small sentences and try to make small sentences. Okay, that is what I want to tell you. So the most important thing is the flow. මෙම එක දිගට ඉංග්‍රීසි ගලාගෙන යන එක තමයි වැදගත්. ඒවා දිග sentences ද small ඒවාද කියන එක වැදගත් නෑ ඔබට. බැරි නම් බෑ තමයි. small ඒවත් බෑ, big ඒවත් බෑ. ටික දුරක් අපි ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කියලා ඒක ෆ්ලෝ එකේ එන්නේ නෑ. අපි ඒ පාර සිංහලෙන් කියනවා. එහෙම යන්න වෙන්නේ. If we want to develop your flow, it's really hot outside. It's really hot outside, but finally what I want to tell you is if you want to develop your flow, use small sentences, make small sentences and try to talk about what you think, and then automatically, naturally, you will have your flow, and that is what is beautiful, that is what is wanted, and that is the nucleus of the spoken language. Clear? Yeah, okay. Bye.